Another snake Ploskinist. Sorry. Video. Yeah, I wasn't going to bother, but I mean, I got 2 minutes into it, and I just said, this is just too stupid. Again, this is too stupid. And so, but this is all there is, so let's argue with the too stupid people.
Well, in my video to amend them, I didn't really cross my T's and dot my lowercase j's on the whole...
Yeah, no, you really made a mess of it, actually. Yeah, horrible, awful mess. So, yeah, I'll jump ahead. He speeds up Jay's video. I'll just jump ahead into his next, whatever, pile of shit. I think he makes a one-liner, so I won't bother with that, a one-sentence thing. Yes, and then move on, or something. So, I'll get to the next joke. Alright, so Jay just asked the basic question, will you concede that sentient creatures experience pain and pleasure? And this is his response to the idea of pain and pleasure.
Maybe, but I'm not totally sure that they know which one they're feeling at any given time. I know.
Well, whatever. So, I mean, this is just idiotic. I mean, I certainly do know the difference. I know the difference between the worst day of my life and the best day of my life. There's no doubt about it. I know the difference between things that are decidedly negative and decidedly positive. We're not talking about those few things that are down the middle. We're not talking about the mediocrity and the mundane. We're talking about the real deal of experiences in your life. So, you know, again, so just evade the subject like a pussy.
That sounds strange, but I know a lot of women who have claimed to hate my fucking guts who then went and had sex with me.
Yeah, a lot of them? A lot of them did that? Oh, that's just a joke. Oh, okay. You're just wasting people's time again. Right. Okay, fine. It's just this stupid, this idea that you really don't understand the idea. We're talking about the price paid for existence. That means we're talking about the really, you know, the bottom 30%, and it's against the top 30%. We're not talking about the shit down the middle crap. The little mundane nothing shit. Fuck.
So, I don't think people actually know what they're feeling. I mean, that sort of casts doubt on whether they're feeling anything at all. But you know what? I'll give that to you. Pleasure, pain, sentient beings, feel them, factual. Okay, go on.
Right. Well, there's no point in going on. You're basically just saying you don't believe in it, okay? You just said, oh, it doesn't make any difference. They can't tell the difference. They can't tell the difference from whatever, migraine, headache, and orgasm. They don't know the difference. It's silly. They don't know the difference between having cancer and not having cancer. They can't tell the difference. Fuck you. This is fucking idiotic.
But then I get to the point where you tell me how it's all objective.
Yeah, well, the point is that you're not getting, okay, is that moral statements are high-order statements. They're statements about things that are made out of a quanta, you know, out of a substance. And so you don't make a moral directive that's absolute in the sense that you don't make some, like, don't walk in the rain on Thursdays or something. They're all probability equations. They're all statements about what generally is true. What's going to be true 90% of the time or 99% of the time or 50% of the time or some statement like that. And it falls one side of that 50% or the other in terms of being something worthy of not doing because it has a negative consequence. And it's like everything has those things. There's risk assessment in the world. You assess the risk and say, is the risk of the downside worth the upside potential? That's the morality is built into that ethic. And what we're talking about is the substance that it's made out of. And the substance it's made out of is real. How exactly you do the calculation, that gets a little more abstract. There's a truth in the end. We just can't know the truth from this position because we can't know every circumstance. But we can certainly know what the constituent thing is. Yeah. The value. And that's what's being talked about here. The value is objectively true. The fact that the welfare of a sentient creature has value is an absolute fact.
Now, you see...
Okay, well, I'll move on.
So you're trying to say that it would be objectively immoral to cut off a person's arm without anesthesia because of the negative sensations they would feel. But let me ask you this.
No. Why don't you just leave that alone? Just deal with the circumstance in its limited context. That if that's all you did was to cause somebody pain, No theory of value extended to it. Just that one isolated event of the individual going through the pain of having an arm sawed on. They don't even have to saw it off. They're just sawing on it. There's no benefits derived, no other circumstance involved, no, they're not feeding it to hungry Jews in the Holocaust. No fucking bullshit, okay, to find an excuse for it. It's just in and of itself, what is it? And it's decidedly negative.
Suppose that person wanted to live and they had...
Well, yeah, they wanted to live. Well, right there you could play with that forever, couldn't you? So you think the person's want, their desire, made up of a fucking notion in their fucking head, some bullshit ambition for which they have no rational basis whatsoever. That, you think, is more real than the suffering of having the arm cut off. And do you really think there's all that many people in America who would volunteer to have their arms sawed off without anesthesia? Really? I mean, even if it was going to save their life, there isn't a whole lot of people who I think are going to go say, "Oh yeah, sign me up for that."
An infection in that arm which was gangrenous, and you happen to be in an area that did not have anesthesia or antibiotics. And the only recourse to save their life is to cut off their arm without anesthesia. Would it not be the moral thing to do to say, "Hey, buck up, sonny, I'm going to chop this motherfucker off, so you're just going to have to..."
Yeah, well, fuck your bucking up shit. I'd take your fucking machete and shove it in your goddamn throat, okay? Yeah, fuck you. You're not fucking coming anywhere near me with your fucking machete. And that wasn't the fucking machete. It wasn't even the thought experiment. It was getting sawed off. Slowly.
To be a man about this shit.
Yeah, fuck you, you fucking... I gotta beat the shit out of you someday. Someday, you're just gonna end this manly talk. You're a goddamn pussy. You're afraid of the fucking truth. I bet you wear women's panties, you motherfucker.
Oh, it looks like people could have different interpretations. It's almost like it's totally fucking...
Oh yeah, well that's okay. So what's the interpretation? There's a mouse on my desk, and for the hell of it, I stick a fork on it, and just so it can't move, can't go anywhere. I'm not going to gain any satisfaction, but I just say just to prove a point about Slate Snake Pilskins being a fucking asshole and an idiot, I'll go torture this fucking mouse. Just to prove that it has value. Because I'll know that it has value. I'll watch it suffer. It'll be right there. I'll be able to put the suffering in a jar, so to speak. I can make a video of it suffering. And say, yeah, well, should we make 1 trillion of that? 1 trillion of that is the same value as 1 trillion little mice being left the fuck alone. No. Yeah, this is just a waste. You're a waste of fucking life. I mean, you're to reject... Well, I'm not going to make the same argument as I made in the other video. I'm not an inanimate object, asshole. That's an absolute fact. I'm not this fucking battery. I have a goddamn complex neural network that creates sensations, and they goddamn mean something, you stupid cunt.
Subjective. Go on. So we can...
Fuck you. Okay, a very simple statement was, you can see the fact that pain is in of itself an objective fact, is a negative experience. So just saying that pain is a negative experience, this guy isn't going to allow us to say.
We cannot. And by the way, you morality people, you always go toward these ridiculous extremes with shit, but how about this? A person...
No, they're not extremes. They're just the reality of everyone's life. These are the risks we face. You face the risk of dying in some sort of very unpleasant manner where you're going to suffer, and they're going to stick things into you and do things to you, and they're not going to be pleasant.
Look at it like, you know what I would like to do? You know what would give me pleasure and reduce the amount of pain and suffering I would have? Like, if I were to just sit at home... eating chocolate ice cream, smoking weed, watching porno, and, the entire Charmed series or something.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you're not doing anything more productive on the internet, that's for goddamn sure. Talking absolute shit, making really bad jokes.
reason when I'm high, I love watching Charmed. I don't know, it's the craziest shit.
Yeah,
But I just
whatever.
love doing it.
Sissy,
I could do that, right?
sissy,
just sit around,
sissy,
eating sugary,
sissy,
fatty food,
sissy,
getting all fat, smoking
sissy,
weed, hell, maybe start
sissy.
smoking cigarettes again. I mean, it's like, I could say these things give me pleasure, so the moral thing to do is to do these things.
Yeah, but we know those are addictions, right? Duh. And so once you're not addicted, you don't need to do them anymore. So that's the counter-argument, right? You only really need to do them is when you're already addicted to them. So if you never acquire the addiction, or you don't have to overcome them through deprivation and to destroy the addiction, then there is no, gratification out of it. Except for maybe eating the fatty food thing. But again, that's another one of those risk-reward things, right? Because you won't get laid then and all this other crap. But maybe that's the only reason. And you look at the average human, jackass, obviously they're not quite getting your argument because that's exactly what they're doing. They're sitting on their couch eating ice cream.
Except here's the rub. As much fun as it would be, I would quickly become miserable. So even though these things are, you could say, it is a fact that these are pleasurable, well, not really, because...
Well, again, we're not even talking about the value or the reality of pleasure, right? Because we could theoretically argue that your pleasure can only be made out of the fact that you need something in the first place. So the fact is if you really don't need anything, if you're not hungry, food isn't going to be enjoyable. That's just the truth. So this is just bullshit. Again, you're off the subject because you're a pussy. You're a whiny little baby who can't even stay on the fucking subject.
If I did them, I would be miserable, and that is the opposite of somebody who is experiencing pleasure. And really...
Miserable what? Because what? You don't have the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, to use a movie reference? That's why you're miserable? And that's the subject here? We're talking about the misery of not having your G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip? Huh? Yeah, no, that's not the subject. You're mocking the subject. The subject is the real world has all these liabilities in them. They do come visiting on people, and they will experience these harshly unpleasant events.
How long it would take, how much I could do this before I became miserable, it all depends on the kind of person that I am.
Well, you've already declared yourself some asshole who's on medication to take care of your misery, all right? So you're already too much of a pussy to do it cold and real like some of us, okay? You're too much of a girly man to face your depression face on in reality. You have to take a drug to get through it. You have to get stoned, or you have to get drunk, or you have to take your Prozac. Right, you fucking girly man.
Means it is subjective, which means, okay, like pain is inherently bad. Well, like running on the treadmill, you think that should be...
Okay, so again, you're going to compare everything to, I did exercise. I lifted my arm like this. See, there, that equals the Holocaust. That represents cancer. Yeah, I don't think so. Pussy, you can't come. You're just afraid to go anywhere near the real subject.
Easy, it takes a lot of effort. I wouldn't call it pain exactly, but
Yeah, well, you should be in a laboratory right now. If you're going to mock it, okay, you should be in a goddamn laboratory right now, and a bunch of rats in lab coats with eyeglasses and spectacles should be fucking you over real hard right the fuck now, and you could be squeaking at them. I don't feel anything. It doesn't objectively mean anything. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, fuck you. You should be sewing ears on your goddamn ass.
I call it hardship that I have to go through, but which maybe I'm just totally out of my fucking mind.
Yeah, you are, because you're really mocking pain by associating pain with some sort of exercise adrenal rush. That's really not exactly the definition that a normal person on the street, when you say, name the most horrible pains in your life, the worst days suffering, that's not what they're going to describe as their day on the treadmill. That's not going to be on their fucking list. Shit for brains.
Doing something that is that much hardship, or maybe there are rewards that are beyond the temporary hardship and pain of doing it. So pain is not always negative, it's not always bad. And
even in that circumstance, it's bad. You just conceded that there's some sort of reward, some little gold trinkets you're going to get for enduring it. So you've already conceded the economy, you dumb fuck. And once you concede that there is a monetary exchange taking place, you can't say there's no such thing as money. Fuck you. You already conceded the fucking argument, retard.
In fact, things like negative and bad are value judgments.
Exactly, stupid fuck. And that's the origins of the goddamn morality. The morality under utilitarian economics is, what are the values? Judge them as, best you can, and then come up with an equal sign and say yes or no to the event.
Apparently not objective.
Well, again, you say so. That's just your declaration that it doesn't matter, and it does quite obviously matter. There's no rational explanation you can make to say it doesn't matter whether I have a pleasant evening or an unpleasant evening, that the two are exactly the same thing. Doesn't matter which one. One isn't preferable to the other. One isn't better for me, the universe, whatever. Of course it is. It's just nonsense not to be able to make a distinction. Now you look like, Laurel or Hardy. Yeah, you look like Laurel. Yeah, Laurel. I don't know, Wally. Anyway, he's probably done, right?
Yeah,
alright, back to
things
some
like
more.
those secret cutters, like, Onision caught some flack for saying, hey, you secret cutters, just do it for attention. It's like, Onision, you jackass, it's called secret cutting. Obviously, it's secret, not for attention, but so that's a whole other set of videos. But what about these girls who cut themselves? Cut.
Yeah, they're mentally ill. They're very unhappy. So they're trying to get out of their unhappiness by imposing more unhappiness, like a little bit of the dog that bit them. Yeah. So they apply a little bit of the dog that bit them. You get it? Yeah. But they're not going from negative to positive. They're going to negative to negativer so they can bounce off the negative wall into positive. That's their theory. If they go all the way down, then they can go back up. But they can't, it's like they can't go reverse. You can only go one way. So you gotta bounce off the bottom. Gotta bounce off the bottom before you can go up. Get it? Retard? But they're not enjoying the pain of it. Okay? They're enjoying control. So they're exchanging value again. For control, they'll endure the pain. Fucktard. Well, you think anorexic people like throwing up? You think so? You're retarded. Oh, in case he has some more.
You think that it doesn't hurt when they cut themselves? Because it does. It hurts them. But they still do it, so are they totally out of their fucking mind? Or do they consider the pain to be a positive experience? Again, it is subjective.
Well, again, it isn't subjective. All right? If they're not experiencing it as a negative thing, then it's not pain, shithead. It's like harm. What kind of word do we have to use to make you understand that we're talking about going from this state of being to either a negative state of being or a positive state of being? We're not talking about sideways motion or wavy nothing motion. We're talking about going from comfort, one level of comfort, to something less comfortable or something more comfortable. All right? So this is just stupid, inane confusion. Silly person.
If there's even one person who can disagree with you and still have a totally valid point of view, then the thing you're discussing is subjective.
No, it isn't. It's not subject to opinion whether a sensation is bad or good. You either can figure that out or you're an idiot. You're beyond hope. And we're not even, if you can't figure it out, we're not talking about that sensation then. That sensation obviously doesn't qualify as negative if you can't figure out it's negative. If you can't figure out you wouldn't like to do it again, then I guess it's not a negative sensation.
Secret cutters disprove your entire fucking proposition.
Well, they proved the proposition, because again, we know they're value exchanging, you stupid fuck. They're trading one thing for another thing. And they both have to do with them getting out of big trouble. Out of a negative state of being. They're doing it because they're in a bad place and they gotta get out. That's called value.
Because you recognize that, riddle me this, Einstein. Why do we have all of these laws that prevent people from just using as many opiate drugs as they want, right? Like, if I wanted to get me some OxyContin, I'd have to jump through some hoops. I'm not saying I couldn't do it. I've done it before. I love OxyContin. But again, like I mentioned, I mean, yeah, I take OxyContin, and I take a little more each day until I'm taking like an entire fucking handful, and then I realize this is a long-term strategy. Then I quit taking them. You know, I haven't had them for like a few years. And, you know, the withdrawal, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, whatever. That sounds like a pile of shit. Oh, I haven't had them for a few years. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, these sound like all honest stories, not.
It'll give you like these explosive shits, but that's a whole other video in itself. But my point is, we have these drugs that deprive people, or we have these laws that deprive people of these drugs, which, A, prevent all pain, and...
Oh, this is just stupid, right? I mean, obviously we have laws against drugs because people on OxyContin running cranes in New York wouldn't be a great idea. And so until we have kind of a system to take care of problems like that, I guess you wouldn't want your pilot to be on OxyContin, would you? And have flaming shits while he's flying your plane, would you? Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't be a good idea. So, again, and so my Mr. Me in his video is obviously talking about a whole different kind of law, like laws against rape and pillage. And of course this guy changes the subject again because he's such a fucking little girl. He can't stay on the subject. He has to keep running away like a little pussy.
To make you feel like $1 million goddamn dollars. So it would seem that the moral thing to do under your objective morality paradigm...
I don't think Jay gives a fuck about drug regulation, okay? I don't think that's what he's talking about. He's talking about crimes that violate another person in such a way as to cause them obvious suffering, like burning down their house, or stealing all their money, or raping them physically. Idiot! Oh, well, you know that, though, because you're evading the subject. Pussy.
Would be to give people as many of these drugs as they could possibly fucking want. Because of the...
This is a preposterous straw, man. I mean, this is just... What, you're going to go on and on about this bullshit when it has nothing to do with the subject? Oh, of course, because that's all you ever do, is change the subject.
Objective reality of the suffering being bad and the objective reality of pleasure being good, then every moral system we have would endorse opiate narcotics.
Again, so you're stupid enough to actually think that that would work in our society. That would, in the long run, make people happier, more comfortable, more content. That it would be a long-term strategy. Oh, that's right. You even said the word long-term strategy, and that's why you don't do it. It's because it fails as a long-term strategy. So again, you've answered your own fucking question, that the social law exists because it's not a sustainable strategy. That would only work for a few weeks and then everything would go straight in the shitter. Bravo! Thank you for answering your own fucking question and answer.
And yet, almost every single country in the entire fucking world has laws doing the exact opposite. Fail.
Fail. Yeah, you just said how you don't do it anymore in 4 years. A few years, you said. You haven't done it in a few years because you see it as not a life-sustaining policy. It doesn't work in the long run, which is part of a value equation. Long-term versus short-term. Short-term gain, long-term gain, short-term pain, right? These are all things people understand because it's part of a value equation. It's part of the exchanging of value. Value, value, value.
The cotton, bitch. Where is it? Huh? Give it to me. I will fucking stab you for it. Well, geez, a little too intense. I really like my oxy. No, but seriously, you better give me some if you... What?
Yeah, but seriously, like I said, there's no seriously to you. There's nothing. This is just so dishonest, such bullshit. This is a fucking, just another cherry on the internet shit cake that you have even gotten into these conversations. Why couldn't you find some other place to go make stupid, idiotic jokes? Why did you have to get into the middle of atheism and the subject of value? Okay, these discussions about kind of serious shit, and you're just turning it into crap. You stupid, ugly, motherfucking useless clown. You're a fucking goddamn smelly goddamn clown.
Can do here is he can read in the...
Well, anyway, I gotta go wait for his other 4-sentence response. Fuck.
These things differently because of the different values they hold. The entire concept of morality is underpinned by the values held by the person who is practicing that particular belief.
No, it's underpinned by a reality where there's shit that has real value. The fact that people can make shit up and think God has value, or a totem pole has value, or a cathedral has value, or Yankee Stadium has value. The fact that they can make that crap up in their stupid motherfucking cunt brains, that's the part that's objectively true that people can be idiots. But it's just as true that this core value reality, okay, of the meaning of consciousness and the states it can be in, is just a fact. If you don't accept the fact, then in my opinion, you're preposterously stupid. All right? And in the end, okay, when the book is all closed, in the book will be written, you were one stupid motherfucker. Because you missed the most important thing, the most valuable thing, and you ran right the fuck over it because you're a dumb asshole. Okay, and it's just the truth. You will be an asshole. There'll be nothing else to say. You're an asshole because you've not discovered something right there in front of your goddamn face the whole time, that the value of the universe, the diamonds, the real deal, the thing that really meant something, okay, was the little sentient creatures walking around or crawling around on planet Earth. And their welfare was the only thing that ever had any meaning. And that was where it all was. And you squandered it and wasted it because you're an asshole. A stupid, ignorant, dumb, motherfucking asshole who can't see the obvious and the truth of it. The fact is, again, you're doing it through a lie, which is even more preposterous, because I think you know goddamn well that if the consequence of your idiotic philosophy was that somebody was going to press a button that would cause 1 trillion human beings horror, Holocaust horror for 1 million years, you wouldn't let them press that button, because you know goddamn well that would be evil. You know it. So you're just lying and playing a game because you have some notion in your head about some philosophical theory that was come up by a psychotic lunatic. Fuck you. Nihilist.
And of morality. Ergo ipso facto, morality of any flavor, being value-based, is not objective. Things that are based on values, which can differ from individual to individual.
Well, that's the whole point is they can't differ from individual to individual. There's no reasonable difference, okay? There's no reasonable way for you to saw somebody else's arm off for no good reason, not because it doesn't make you happy or for any reason. No reason, just to do it to prove a point. Okay, it's decidedly wrong. It's negative. You can't. I mean, this crap that you could just make it up in your goddamn head and say I can rape women. That's all you're just saying. You're saying anybody can do anything to anyone, and the only thing that matters is whether the criminal justice system catches them. There is no crime. If there was no criminal justice system, it would be perfectly all right to rape and pillage and kill and murder and slaughter. It's just a fucking opinion. It's not just a fucking opinion. It's the only rational, reasonable opinion on fucking goddamn in the universe. There's no rational alternative explanation for the fucking reality. There's one fucking reasonable explanation, and that is that no, it is not all right to violate something, to harm something, to cause them suffering. God damn it. Without some reason. Unnecessary. Inefficient suffering. No redeeming value created. In and of itself, bad suffering. No value, no education. I mean, these comments are idiotic. They're talking about torturing a gorilla in the fucking comments. You fucking people are insane. You're just fucking insane.
Well, are not, as a matter of fact, objective. Anyway, I have run out of time for this bullshit.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. It's a fact because there is no alternative explanation. It can be declared. Okay? Look, doing any kind of objective, absolute statements in this universe is difficult because anybody can just make up multiverses. They can make up all kinds of bullshit and lies. They can make up gods. Okay? Yeah, you can make up a lie to try to get out of the truth, but the truth is right there in front of us. It's rock solid. And only an unreasonable asshole denies the fact that sentient creatures create value by being in different states of being. It's just the truth. They are less negative when they're happy, and they're more negative when they're harmed. That's just the way it is. God, you suck. I hate this guy. Hate. So, yeah, I'll just do what I've done before, but yeah, I hope you get exactly what you deserve. Your casual insult to suffering. I hope you get exactly what you have earned. Exactly what you have earned.